I want to pick on Ram a little bit. They are 2 years away from bringing their electric pickup truck to market. Rivian is out now. The Hummer is out now. Ford is already got the Lightning in production. We should see that here in a few months. GM, both the Chevy Silverado EV and the GMC Sierra, I'm sure, should probably see next year. Ram thinks that being late to the party is actually a good thing. They feel that being late to the party has some advantages to them because they can see how everybody else is doing it and one-up them. Now, Ram has done this before, and I got to take people back maybe 30 years, but when Ram was part of the Dodge brand, late 1980s, it was fairly and also ran. There was Chevy, GMC, Ford, and then further down it was Ram. Part of the way they survived until they were able to go to a new truck was their deal with Cummins engine. And that pretty much saved them, being able to offer such a powerful diesel from an established big rig truck engine manufacturer was a masterstroke for them. And that happened a few years before their major redesign of their pickup truck, what they call the big rig look. That big rig look, which came out in 1993, resulted in them going from selling roughly 90,000 trucks a year to over 270,000 trucks that year. And in fact, they had so many orders, they couldn't build them all. They actually rolled a fair number of those orders into 1994's 94 models and fully cemented the start of the full-size Dodge Ram, now just Ram pickup truck, as, you know, a contender. And they've been gaining momentum ever since. So they've got a history having done this because at the time, their design was what we would charitably call polarizing. Either you loved it or you didn't. It did not look like anything else currently on the road. It didn't look like a Ford. It didn't look like a Chevy. And they had the same mindset. We're late to the party. We need to be different, dramatically different. And we realized by being different, not everybody is going to like it. And they said, we're okay with that. And as it turned out, it was brilliant. Come forward 30 years. Here we are again. And their words, they hope to swoon in with a superior offering after its rivals cultivate a market that barely exists today. Okay, that's fair. Tesla's holding 250,000 orders for their truck. I think that Ford has 250,000 orders for their truck. I don't know what GM and Chevrolet have for their EV pickups. And I'm not sure what the order book looks like for Rivian, but they all have people who want the truck. You know, we'll see what happens, honestly, if and when Elon Musk brings the Cybertruck out and see where we go from there. Because honestly, for Ram, I think the bigger thing, Rivian being dramatically different, Hummer was different, but I think being dramatically different, I think Rivian would be more of a cautionary tale for Ram than even Ford or GM. That's just my take on it. But they think they can do this. And I just want to clarify here. Here's where we're at. Rivian kickstarted the U.S. electric pickup market segment last fall with their R1T. In December, GM came out with the GMC Hummer EV. Ford is launching the F-150 Lightning on April 26. It's in production now, about a year before the scheduled release of the Chevy Silverado EV, about a year from now. Tesla, the date now for the Cybertruck is 2023. Maybe. I mean, he's already deferred it once, maybe twice. We'll see if that comes. But if he meets it, it's still ahead of the Ram. So you've got all of this product hitting the market. And this is what's known from two major manufacturers who know how to build a vehicle. One of those manufacturers is in the process of being basically EV supplier to the world in terms of EV components. And the other one's bulking up to be the same, lesser, but still that level of supply chain mastery. Ford spending a lot of money to get there. GM is getting there with what they've built and what they're on track to build. And then there's Ram. And they've got to spend a lot of money to get there. Because let's put the truck aside for a minute. Let's talk about their infrastructure to get there. What do they got? I mean, they've announced that they're going to build some plants. But again, they're late to the party. Do they have a semiconductor deal? GM does. Ford does. Rivian does. Tesla makes their own. That's half the battle right there. And then you're looking at a whole supply chain change. This is not like putting a new engine into an existing chassis. This is a brand new standalone chassis. It's got to go through verification, development, testing, hot weather testing, cold weather testing, durability testing, reliability testing. Then you got to build a whole slew of parts to support the dealer network. And that's before you build the first one. All of this has to happen. So the question is, yeah, they're looking, but there's only so much they can do before they have to freeze the design and pull the trigger. So I think the bigger question for Ram is, what does your infrastructure look like? You know, you're talking a good game, but if you don't have the infrastructure to build this thing, it don't matter what it's going to look like. Because we've seen a variety of EV manufacturers, quote unquote manufacturers, oh, we got this amazing looking vehicle we're going to build. Fell apart because they didn't have the bulk to get there. They didn't have the infrastructure to make it. Faraday Future, anybody? And there's a few others that are now just hitting the news that I've never heard of. We'll see. So I think the big thing for Ram to have been standoffish for so long and now trying to leverage, gee, we don't believe in electric trucks. Now they're all in and playing catch up. It takes a year. Now, maybe and that's just the sheet metal, for a whole new supply chain system, even if they reach into the parts bin at Stellantis in their Europe subsidiaries, you still got to make modifications for it to work in America. Typically, range and durability are the two issues they've got to bulk up on, as opposed to the European spec vehicle. And because a pickup truck is so unique, it's not exactly like they can build this in their plant in Warren or their plants in Mexico. So the question is, are you building a new assembly line for it? Are you going to build it stateside, which makes economic sense? If so, are you building a new plant? Or if not, which plant are you retooling to make this happen? And are you sharing a platform with anybody? Because of the numbers, you're going to need to put this either in a Jeep or something else to make the numbers work. Because you're spending a whole bunch of money for a brand new share with nothing platform that has nothing in common with what you're building now across everything. That's a big question. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it seems some of these companies have had success. You don't want to say just jumping in blindly. They didn't jump in blindly. But like Ford with the Mach-E, they were pretty early. You know, obviously you have Tesla kind of be the first, seemed mass market. Well, sorry, I'm discounting the Leaf, right? Or the
Tesla still built it in more numbers. The Model 3 alone blows that out.
No, I know, but the first real mass available, it was even before
Tesla
the Leaf,
was
right?
building. Tesla was building vehicles before the Leaf.
Building them, but like mass
Selling
market,
them.
most people that first bought an electric vehicle was like I feel like it was the Leaf, but I feel like I'm forgetting one.
Well, you're thinking about the Saturn EV.
Or the other small one.
The Saturn EV, which was even 10 to 15 years before that.
But a lot of these companies, even with the Mach-E, you know, just decided let's just do it and start getting better at it pretty quick.
Ford did more than let's just do it. They threw a lot of money at it, and they were at a place.
But they went in it early, is my point. And
yes, they did.
Versus this sit and wait strategy, everyone might leapfrog them while they're waiting.
The question is, do they have the money and the intestinal fortitude to get there?
Yeah.
For them, it's going to be infrastructure. It's going to be infrastructure.
It's all about the 2022 Genesis G70 sedan. We were